All right, and welcome to another episode of the Spurs Rewind. I'm your host, Joe Garcia, and I'm going to be joined by my counterparts here. We're going to be joined by Vicky Vick, who is a writer and contributor to Project Spurs. How has your week gone so far, Vicky?
It's been good. It's been really good. It's gone by quickly.
Yes, that it has. And we're also going to
Yes.
be joined by Josh Paredes, who is also a writer, contributor to Project Spurs here. And Josh, how has your week gone?
Pretty good so far. Seems like it's going pretty fast.
No trick
And we're
shots to
almost in September.
no trick shots this week.
No, I took a break because I had other things going on that I'll get into later. But I have plenty in the bank. I got some surprises in there that I'll unleash on Monday.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a video that you had put up, and you're like, no trick shots this week. And then I saw the neighbor's dog jump up.
That dog was crazy. He jumped. His entire neck up was above the fence, and he's not like he's big, but it's also a full size fence. So yeah.
Oh,
Early plug. Josh 18 on Twitter. Go to that, and you'll see that dog.
I thought the dog was legit gonna like jump over the fence.
Dude, he almost pulled a sandlot. I was like scared.
yeah.
Scared of that.
Yeah,
but-
Josh is
and then
like, let's go
quickly
inside.
the neighbor came out and she was like, "Hey, you don't do that," and made him go inside. So
Yeah,
it's
it was
funny.
kind of funny. Josh was like, all right, we're gonna go inside now. You know.
Yeah, not safe anymore.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start talking about some of the hot topics that are swirling around Spurs Twitter and going around Spurs social media channels and whatnot. One of those things that we're gonna go ahead and talk about right off the bat was something that I think was kind of popular amongst people, amongst Spurs fans, should I say, and that's going to be that the Suns are named as one of the teams that are kind of interested in one Thaddeus Young. Um, so we're going to go ahead and show that on the screen right here. And I found this through the Athletic per Sham Sharnaya. He said that the Suns were among contenders who have pursued Spurs forward Thaddeus Young, is what he's citing his sources have told him. Um, I don't think this really comes as a big surprise. We kind of anticipated that other teams would be interested once we went ahead and made the trade with DeMar DeRozan going to the Bulls, and we in fact winded up getting a couple of picks along with Thaddeus Young and Amino as well. Um, but at this juncture, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how many other suitors there are for Thaddeus Young. And the question mark that I have for you guys is, do you in fact think that he's going to go ahead and last with the Spurs and start the season with the San Antonio Spurs, or there going to be something going on behind the scenes there? I know how Paul Garcia had came out and said, how the trades work and whatnot, but I don't know how this one works. I don't know, because we traded him because we made the trade with DeMar DeRozan and we got him and Aminu. Do we still have that window that we have to wait for in order for us to be able to make a trade? I mean, there's a lot of questions there, but regardless, what are your thoughts on this, Josh, and the Suns being interested in Aminu?
Oh, and Young. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I believe he can be traded. There was a whole thing going on with that where I was going back and forth with Paul because he wasn't sure himself because there was it was kind of a nebulous area there, and I believe he can get traded. I believe, there was someone trying to correct Paul on Twitter, and he was like, "All right, I'll go with my sources, and you go with yours," which I thought was hilarious. But I think he can. And as far as if I think he'll, last until the season starts, I think the Spurs would probably give him up if they could get some picks in return. I don't really see them just going, for Saric or just a player, just like a straightforward getting more players back. And, they still have to cut a couple people before the season starts. So I kind of like the idea of him on this team. He's 33, and everyone else is pretty much in their 20s now at this point. They're still going to need some kind of veteran. I don't really understand these people that are saying we shouldn't have like anybody over 30. Like, we need to have some stability here. And I like the idea of him being, kind of like a two-way threat. And, his passing is underrated. He plays great defense. I would like to see him actually, and just maybe see how he is at the beginning of the season. That he can still be traded during the season if it doesn't work out. not surprised that people are interested. He's the kind of person that can push you over the top if you're kind of at that level where you just need that one more piece. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, what's interesting too is that the Suns cannot trade the following players. They can't trade Paul, Payne, McGee, Kaminsky, Nader, or Payton until December 15th because they signed contracts earlier this month. So it's like, okay, if you can't give up any of these players, I mean, what are you going to give up? Like you said, maybe picks, would be interesting for the Spurs if they, in fact, just, signal that if we go ahead and give up Young, they're just going to go ahead and go on full on youth movement, and whatever happens, happens, and they're going to be loaded with picks come, the NBA draft coming up, after this season. So it'd be interesting to
Right.
see how everything works out. But Vicky, your
Mhm.
thoughts on the Suns being one of the potential suitors for Young services?
It's interesting, especially now that you say they don't really have many options to give back. I think I don't know that I really see the Spurs dealing him out, though. I think that of the three that Paul mentioned in that article that you mentioned, um, I think he's going to be the one to stay. I think Aminu and Hutchinson are probably going to be the ones that are, no longer part of the roster when the season starts. And I think I agree with what Josh was saying. I think that he's probably the one. I mean, he definitely is the one that they'd want to keep in terms of experience and just having a veteran, older guy on the team since there really isn't much of that right now. So I'm hoping that he sticks around, that they do end up keeping him. Interesting, but I guess also, there's so much buzz going around everything right now in the NBA. I don't know. Tomorrow it could be some other team is interested or he's going to stay or, they're just all sorts of stuff's going around right now.
I think in the past the Spurs of old would have kept him. I think this new Spurs front office, the people that they have in place now, they might want to do things a little differently. So, listening to offers and shopping him around, maybe behind the scenes, seeing what teams can offer the San Antonio Spurs to be part of their rebuilding phase, I think is interesting to them for their future. If while he might be a decent player to go ahead and have in the lineup, at the end of the day, is that going to really translate into us really making a viable push into the playoffs? I don't know. And I think that's a big question mark, and that's something that the front office is going to have to weigh. Are you going to really are you really thinking the squad you have is going to get you to the playoffs, or do you think you still need to work on some things in order to get back there? And if that's the case, trading him for some picks or something that they can use now might be a better, let's say, opportunity for the San Antonio Spurs long term. So we're looking at the short picture thing, but long term we got to look to see what's going to really happen, in the for the
True.
future. So as we go ahead and digress here and move on to our next topic of discussion, we're going to go ahead and talk about Bryn Forbes, and Bryn Forbes actually had some things to say per Spurs Nation, is where I actually heard this. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it up right now. And I'm going to go ahead and play this excerpt that's up on Spurs Nation right now. You can see that on Twitter. And so we'll go ahead and play the little video. It's a couple of seconds and length 32 seconds. So let's listen to it.
Yeah, I think some experience. I think experience is a big thing. I started with Dejounte. Derek was here the next year. A few guys played a few years with Yakov. Just that experience. Left and saw some things, some different things. Saw what it took to get to a championship. That I think that experience is something I'm gonna be able to take on with me and hopefully give to our team and to the young guys. Yeah, I think some experience. I think experience is a big thing.
It's looping.
I started with
Yeah,
Dejounte.
I'm trying to go ahead and fix that
it's
because I couldn't hear
it's
his. He was
looping.
too low.
Oh,
I
I could
was.
I
hear
heard
it.
him.
Yeah, he
I heard
just
him say
sounded.
experience like 9 times.
Yeah, it's like he's kind of low to me,
I was
man.
gonna say he's his experience.
Getting
So
paid to say experience? Like, is this a DraftKings situation?
Yeah, he was just a little low, but the thing is, he's just saying, he's bringing some championship experience from winning a chip with the Bucks. He wants to go ahead and bring that to the team and kind of pass that along to the younger core. Now, the question that going to present to you guys is, does this really going to make a huge difference? Do you think that Bryn Forbes bringing that championship experience, what do you think it's really going to do for this team? Can he really, you know, have an impact on the Spurs this season as far as his championship experience and bringing that knowledge over to this younger core? I mean, what do you think is really going to happen? We'll start with you, Vicky. How impactful is his experience with the Bucks going to be for the Spurs moving forward?
I think experience is pretty valuable all the time. I think that it is helpful having a player on the Spurs who has gone all the way through the finals, has won a championship. If anything, just to provide sort of like a morale boost and I don't know, just what do you call it? Like experience to provide.
Word of the day.
Now Vicky's looping
other
Josh.
guys. I know. He can tell them, give them insight as to like what it was like when he saw the Spurs in general right now. At least the main core of the group don't have a lot of experience in the playoffs. Now that word feels weird to say, uh, but I think it does add a little bit. It adds a layer of something. I don't think he's gonna be like a leader on this team where he shouldn't be. I guess.
We don't have Patty now, Vicky. So
I know, but he could be a leader in terms of being a role model kind of guy. But I mean, he's not gonna be like okay. I see Keldon Johnson taking that morale, like Patty Mills
be the morale booster.
essence, right? He's taking that. But it
Agreed.
adds something. I don't know that he's going to end up, giving all of this knowledge to the
Wisdom.
guys. But right. But it'll be nice if they do get to make the playoffs and have somebody who has seen that level of what do you call it, competitiveness. It'll be helpful.
Now, same question to you, Josh. How impactful is Bryn Forbes' experience gonna be on the team this season? He's saying he wants to go ahead and bring it, to the team and impart that to the younger core. I mean, what do you think?
So remember how LeBron started with the Cavs and then he went to Miami and won some titles and then he came back and won a title with them? That's exactly what's going to happen. No.
Oh my God. All right, this show's over.
No, but for real, like, I mean, I'm sure it'll mean a little bit. And then again, he played, I think, like 22 minutes in the finals or something. They didn't really play him a lot. But it does mean something. I mean, you look at the roster now and there's nobody that has been to the finals or, has that experience. So I'm sure it'll come into play a little bit, but I mean, he's just saying what you would expect him to say, and I don't blame him for it. He has a championship now, so we might as well talk about it. Maybe Keldon can bring some Olympic knowledge to, whatever happened over there. He'll have some confidence then. Bryn might have some more confidence now that he's a champion. So I could see it working confidence-wise, but in terms of like anything else, I'm not sure that would be a big deal.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of like you, Josh. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the guy does have championship experience. Could it help the team? Possibly, but you'd have to make the playoffs first for it to be
Right.
impactful. So it's like, how likely are the Spurs going to be to make the playoffs this season? I think that's still a big question mark that we all have. While we would love the team to make the playoffs, I think the consensus is, let's just see what happens. There's really no big expectation at this juncture. We know that this is going to be kind of a rebuilding phase for us. Legit. We're going to be going with the youth movement because we have no option. So whatever we get, we get. If they get to the playoffs and hey, maybe his experience was impactful after all. So it is what it is at this juncture. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Just much like everybody else in Spurs Nation, we'll have a wait and see attitude. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the thing is, isn't it exciting though, the not knowing part? We haven't been here in a long time, where you can say, oh, we have DeMar, we might make a little push to the playoffs. We could be going for the play-in game again this year. we don't know. So I think that's kind of something to get excited about, the not knowing part, you know?
Agreed.
So as we move forward here, we're going to go ahead and briefly touch on our favorite subject here on the Spurs Rewind, and that's going to be Ben Simmons. The Ben Simmons rumors will not die. And once again, we hear rumors coming out, that Ben Simmons has said to the Philadelphia 76ers that he no longer wants to be part of the team and that he's not even going to wind up showing up for the training camp, preseason. And they have the Vegas odds makers have the Spurs at a plus 400 as far as landing Ben Simmons. And they're just below, I believe it was the Trailblazers and one other team. It eludes me who it was, but there was two other teams in front of San Antonio, and then it was San Antonio. I mean, we're just going to touch on it briefly, and you just give me your quick answer to it. Vicky, are you buying or selling the rumor?
Selling? I mean, I'm hoping, but just the fact that it won't go away is really making me like nervous.
You think you're right because
just
you think the Spurs would actually make a move?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. Like historically speaking, I don't think the Spurs would. But just like you said earlier in the show, you never know. They're kind of doing a lot of different things and weird things. New front office members, and it's I don't know. It kind of scares me. I strongly lean towards the no. I don't think they're going to go for it, but I think it would be a huge, huge mistake if they do. And that little bit that is like nagging me saying that they might do it is making me feel like it's just going to be a terrible
season. So if they
that
trade
happens.
for Ben Simmons and he does become a member of the San Antonio Spurs, you're not going to go get a Ben Simmons jersey?
No.
Oh, man.
No.
She'll root for him, though. We got to root for the players. But
eventually.
Yeah.
He's got to prove himself to Vicky first.
He has to prove himself.
Personally.
Make a couple threes. So after 3 years, maybe he'll win me over.
If you see the jersey in a kid size on clearance, you're going to snag that jersey up.
I guess so.
You got to, especially if it's 50 off, 50% off. You're going to get it. Don't be lying, Vicky. Oh, anyway, we got some messages here from some of our viewers. Henry Rojas is watching us from YouTube. He says, hello. He says, they're waiting to see if Ben Simmons goes on clearance. That's true. We are waiting to see if he goes on clearance.
Yeah, that weird section at HEB where it's just a bunch of orange stickers on it. And
yes.
I think
check the expiration date, though, Josh.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
It could be 2 years past its expiration date. That's why it's on clearance,
Yes.
Oh, so let's go ahead and go with you, Josh. You buying or selling the rumor? And how, they have the Spurs at a plus 400 as far as landing Simmons. I mean, are you really worried about that?
Not really. I'm selling just because I still know that the demands are so high. There was just an article in The Athletic today that was talking about how I had forgotten this. They had, Daryl Morey is a madman when it comes to trying to trade his stars. They had asked Golden State for Wiggins, the number 2 pick, James Wiseman, the number 7 and 14 picks in this year's draft, and 2 additional future first-round picks.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you have that kind of value on this guy, I don't see. I mean, I'm sure it's going to go down now, especially with him, coming out saying that he's not going to report to training camp and there all this friction. So I'm sure it'll go down. Maybe then the Spurs might listen, like you said, when he goes a little bit more on clearance. But I mean, for any time soon, I don't see it happening. I actually got in a little bit of hot water on Twitter when I compared his situation to Kawhi because he said he wants to go to California, one of the California teams.
Yeah, he forced his way out.
Right, and so I equated that to Kawhi Leonard, the little handshake meme where Kawhi Leonard and Ben Simmons, forcing their way to California. People didn't agree because it's not exactly the same situation, but I just like to take shots at Kawhi, so it's just fun.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Yeah. So, yeah, Ben, neither the organization or the team is really handling it the best. And, there were a lot of people just throwing him under the bus after that playoff series. So he's warranted in not wanting to be, a Sixer anymore. But at the same time, he hasn't improved on a lot of the things that he's supposed to have improved on by now. And
Yes.
that is coming back to bite them over and over again. And, it's time for them to. I'm buying that he's going to be moving on. I'm not sure it'll be in San Antonio unless, they really just scrape the barrel and Gerald doesn't go crazy with his requests.
Sure enough. And then we have a fan watching us from YouTube right now. His name's Corey Evans. He puts, as an Australian, he goes, I want Simmons. He goes, he says, I want to have two Aussies on the team, but as a person, I can't stand the guy. I get what you're saying. I really do. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't make the decisions like the front office does. So basically,
Right.
we're at their mercy. Whatever they decide to do, they're going to do it. And if that means they trade for the guy, they trade for the guy. He comes to the Spurs. It is what it is. But the likelihood of that actually transpiring to me it's very slim.
Hope
Unless the asking price goes down. Are the Spurs interested? I'm sure they are. And there are a lot of other teams, but the asking prices you have both stated is a little high. So he needs to come down and, be reduced at maybe 90% off, Vicky. Maybe then he'll get your
90% off.
Yeah, 90% off. Then Vicky will be, huh?
Yeah, I'd go for it if that were the case. And if he doesn't
it's like at Target, in like November, you can get Halloween candy
yes,
for like 90% off at a
or
certain
like
point.
Easter candy the day after Easter, all
Christmas
that stuff.
wrapping paper in July.
Yeah. Yes, that's so true.
So we're gonna go ahead and move on from the Ben Simmons rumors. I'm tired of talking about this kid already, man. Every time we think he's already done, and we're not going to talk about him anymore. Boom, he pops back up again. I'm just like, please let him go away. Let him go away. And we're going to go ahead and talk about a article that our very own, Project Spurs member here wrote. Was latest by Paul Garcia. It says San Antonio Spurs answering key off-season questions. And he's putting on here, he goes, who is most likely to get waived or traded before the beginning of the regular season? And he says, in the beginning of the article, the Spurs now have 17 players on guaranteed contracts. The team can only take 15 on guaranteed contracts into the regular season, meaning 2 players from the roster need to be waived or traded by October the 18th. So I'm going to go ahead and go to you guys. And as you can see the article here, if you want to read more about that, go to projectspurs.com. So we'll go ahead and go to you, Josh. Who do you think is likely to get cut from the team before the October the 18th deadline?
I mean, I would probably say Hutchison and Aminu at this point. I'm not sure what Paul, I don't remember what he said, but I would go with whatever he said also because he seems to always
he
be.
says that too. And those my
Yeah.
thoughts.
Okay. Then, I would agree with that then because those seem like the odd men out, kind of just acquired as part of a bigger picture, getting picks or getting Thaddeus. So it would probably be those two. I'd be surprised if it was anyone else, unless they do make some kind of trade. And then we're talking about a whole new situation. But I don't really know much about Hutchison at all. Just that his name doesn't have an N in it. It should be Hutchinson, but it's
There we go. It is
already bad enough. So
he can't stand it because he already has a typo in his name.
Yeah, he's a permanent typo.
He has a typo.
Josh is like, he's voted off the island because you have a typo.
See, my editor mind, I'm just like, why is there no N in Hutchison, man?
Yeah.
So he's out.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah.
And what about you, Vicky? You're thinking the same thing as Josh. You don't think Hutchinson and Amino are going to make the cut?
No, Hutchison. Yes, Hutchison. No, yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I also kind of am wondering what's going on with like Keita Bates Diop. I don't know. I think he's like a close third on my list for who's sticking around. But definitely those two are, I think, front runners. Seems like there's so many more players than 17 though.
There's a lot.
It seems like it, but I think it's more maybe because of all the players that you saw in Summer League. You saw all these new faces in Summer League, and you saw some of our draft picks, in Wieskamp and Primo, and you're looking at these plays, you're like, okay, they're coming into summer league, but at the end of the day, they can only take so many players into the regular season with them. So that October
Right.
18th deadline is going to be looming once the regular, well, not the regular season, but the preseason starts back up again, and training camp and all that good stuff, which we were 52 something days away. So I think now we're more around 49, 48 days away from that, uh, training camp starting and whatnot. So it's just around the corner. It's about a month away, little under a month away. So get ready.
Wait, did you say 49 days away?
It was something like that. I think it was 52 on
40.
Sunday, and now we're on Wednesday. So now it's something like 48, 49.
Well, that's like over a month and a half.
Yeah, let's see.
When does it? Yeah, because it starts in.
I'm going to check. I'll make sure. 49 days, 4 hours, 13 minutes, and 35 seconds.
Till the start of the season, or until?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you
the
looking at
start
the
of the
New Year
season.
countdown,
Okay.
Joe? What's going on
Yeah, I
here?
have it on my website, twoshodspodcast.com. Go check it out.
I think
Because
you
I
were
mean,
thinking training camp, right, Josh? Is that
Yeah.
what you were thinking?
Yeah.
or even the regular season is like 50 days
October
away.
Yeah,
I would
10th?
regular
say.
season.
Yeah,
But
so
training camp starting in
that's
October,
Yeah.
so it's
Okay, so
shorter.
this is the regular season.
Yeah.
fine.
When we
Okay,
actually do our first post game show. So preseason's different though. So my mistake. Josh
no, it's okay.
corrected
I
my
just wanted to
typo.
make sure we're not
Josh is correcting my typo
giving
once again.
people of the wrong
wrong-
timeline.
You gotta love Josh. He's always correcting us. But you know what? It keeps us on our toes.
That's part of my job, man. I can't help it. My wife doesn't like it so much.
That's okay. I don't mind it because we need to be able to
Yes,
be
accuracy.
There you go. That's what I like.
I gotta hold us all accountable.
Yes. There we go.
Josh is the
There we
gatekeeper
go.
of Spurs
Yes.
Rewind. So I'm with you guys. I think the same thing. It's probably going to be Amino and Hutchison that probably won't make the cut. So it'd be interesting if it's not them. And maybe one or the other kind of sneaks in, maybe impresses the coaching staff and in the preseason and in training camp. So everybody's going to have to fight for their jobs. So it's never a gimme. So if you want that roster spot, you got to shell out. Don't hold back because somebody else wants that spot,
Exactly.
So we're going to go ahead and move on here, and we're going to go ahead and talk about something else here that I know Vicky is just going to love to talk about. It's the what in the Funko Pop is going on here because Funko is now going to be releasing, as you can see here,
It's
a San Antonio
adorable.
Spurs Coyote Funko Pop. And they already going to be, I think they already went on pre-order. So you can in fact pre-order these before they go on sale. They haven't actually named the date yet when they actually go on sale, but it is available for pre-order. And I know Vicky's going to look at that and say it's adorable. And she needs one.
Yes. I want one. I'm going to have to pre-order it. I don't have any Spurs. Like, I don't know. I've never been
You didn't
able
even
to
get
get
the
any of
Gervin
them.
one?
No. I know. I'm so sad. I really want one. And the Coyotes is so cute. It's just so fun.
You could take
looking.
it if you go to a game at the AT&T Center, or maybe if you're lucky, you'll get it signed by the Coyote.
Yes. I'll have to do that.
Yeah, it could happen,
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, so I'm sure you're excited about the Funko Pop, the Spurs Coyote Funko Pop.
Yes.
So, Josh, what do you think about the Funko Pop? I know you've had time to probably look at it already. Is this something you're going to add to the collection?
Yeah, maybe. I have to see how much it is. I didn't look at the pre-order yet, but yeah, that would be nice to have. I do already though. I have a Lego Coyote that I got
Nice.
that I have near my desk when I'm writing and stuff. So I mean, it's similar, but it's made out of Legos and not as cute. But it's still cool. And my wife actually put it all together one day. Just kind of, I think it was during when we had that winter storm and we had like nothing to do, and we just
There's
kind of
no electricity, so
yeah, it's like
That's awesome.
might as well just put this together.
How
So
romantic, Josh! You are putting together the first Coyote Lego by
I mean,
candlelight.
yeah, it was mostly her. I started with it, and we were like, doing the feet, 1 foot each, and then.
Ah,
But after a while, like I was like impatient, and
You're like, you do it.
yeah, I'm like, I'm over this. Plus, like it's hard. My hands, I couldn't. It was a mini. They were mini Legos. They weren't even
no.
regular size. I think that was the biggest deal. I just remembered. So she has
That's
smaller
so
hands. She
cool.
was able to do it. I was just like all stumbling, just breaking his calf and stuff. I'm like, I can't.
You're like, I'm done
But
with
yeah,
it.
I mean, it's very cute. I hope I get to see
Yeah.
a lot of people buying that and sharing their, their little Funko Pops on Twitter and stuff.
Might be something
Yes.
we got to talk to the boss man about, Michael DeLeon, see if we can get a couple, maybe to give away or something,
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun.
Good work.
That is
Yeah.
fun.
So I like it. I think I'm going to go ahead and pre-order mine as well. Because, I mean, who doesn't want it? I already have a Coyote bobblehead. It's back there on the shelf. You can probably, don't know if you can see it, but
I can
it's
see
back
it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need
Oh, I
to,
do see it.
yeah. So I need to add another one to the collection. I still have the Rudy Gay bobblehead, where it's DJ Rudy Gay.
Aww.
I kept
Do
it
we know why
Rudy.
the Coyote wears 2? Because I
too.
feel like the number is
It's
soiled.
actually, oh
Why
man,
the Coyote
know.
wears the number 2?
it's actually 21 that he's wearing, 2 plus the exclamation point. I think he's doing that in honor of Tim
Is it
Duncan.
going for that? I guess.
Yeah, I
But
think
he's worn it forever, right?
he's
Like,
worn
Yeah,
it
I think that was
forever.
more Kawhi.
two,
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
right now. I'm wondering if it should be changed at a certain point
two
because the
exclamation.
number 2 is
Yeah.
no
That is
longer. Or we
weird.
just need a new number
or
2.
you're saying that number 2 is tainted
A little bit.
Mm.
a little bit
Some guy.
by somebody,
He who shall not be named.
Yeah,
right?
maybe if Simmons comes over, he'll be number 2.
So as we're starting to
Mm.
bring the show to a close here, we're going to go ahead and talk about our very own Josh Paredes, and he's got something that he's working on that we're going to go ahead and let him tell you about. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that graphic up right now. So what is this new venture that you have coming up, Josh?
Yeah, so I've mentioned this a couple times on the show, I believe, as my side kind of project. San Antonio Spurned. It's basically, the Onion meets Spurs coverage. I like to take a comedic slant at Spurs coverage because there's not really a lot of that. There's not really any of that, really. So I've been here and there writing some things on it, and I'm going to start bringing it back as more of a full-time thing. And I'm going to be doing that starting this month. If you go to my Twitter at Josh810, you'll see that on my pinned tweet, I'm having a giveaway for people that want to, celebrate the launch of the site. So right now on the screen, this is actually a sneak peek that nobody's seen yet of an article. And Vicky, I'll describe it to you because I can see it on mine over here.
Yeah.
Let me go full screen here so we can see it.
Yeah, so this is one of the ones that I'm gonna have basically a week starting September 19th, I believe, or a few days, like 5 days in a row, where I'm gonna post a new article every day, kind of like I did with Tim Duncan Week.
Nice.
And this one that I'm sneak previewing, I was actually working on it today, and it was called 5 times the Spurs players have told people to shut the F up, basically. That's kind of the slant I go with on this site. So
That's gonna be fun.
I've dug, I was digging through Twitter and finding, DeJounte talking back at people, the guy that was kind of, speaking of Kawhi, that was kind of getting carried away with his Kawhi, I'll get into that in the article. There's some Kyle Anderson in there. So once that comes out, you'll get to read what I found. And I also provide commentary on, each one, just because I find them all hilarious. I really like when people just speak their mind on Twitter, and especially if they're someone on the Spurs, where you always know them as just like character guys, but everyone has their limits, so you're going to keep talking crap, then you're going to get it back. And so I'm going to have that coming out as part of my relaunch week. And on September 18th, actually, I'm going to have like a little a relaunch party at the block. Any local people that in San Antonio, it's going to be at the block on UTSA.
We fully expect you there, Vicky.
Yeah, I don't know if like how with COVID and everything, if you're going out or anywhere, but that's going to be a thing from 3 to 6 anytime people can stop by, and we'll just hang out and catch up. You know, I get to meet some of Spurs Twitter, some people that read my stuff, and kind of. Yeah, so yeah, we haven't told Vicky about this yet, but we'll talk about it after the show also. I'm
It's
gonna
on
have
it's on the 18th, right? On the 18th.
Yeah, September 18th. I'm gonna have some stickers, some shirts for a couple of people that get there from the new site. I'll talk about. I mean, it's mostly just going to be kind of a gathering to celebrate the launch, but also just drink and have fun. And then the next day, for the 5 days after that, I'm going to have a unique article, pretty much extended one. There's another one about nicknames for Spurs on Basketball Reference that I found hilarious. So it's a lot of stuff I've been doing. I'm going to be working on that all month.
You need
Very
to do an
excited about
article
it.
on the ball, on the actual ball, and his point of view from when the Spurs lost against the Miami Heat in the NBA
Oh, God.
Finals.
You want me to cry while I write, or do you
Yes.
want
I know.
a funny article?
But do it from the ball's perspective. What did you feel as you
Or
as
the
you left?
net,
Right?
the net, because it was going to be the net that they took home. You know,
Wait, that's the college, I think. You're
That's-
thinking of.
they
Yeah.
take it too.
Do they take it in the finals?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
At least they have, because I remember seeing somebody wearing it.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel
Some
like that was
players
always
do.
a NCAA thing, but I mean, I'm sure somebody does it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm very excited about that. It's going to be
Yay!
something maybe down the road we can partner with Project Spurs and make it a whole thing and start adding. I might get some other people to guest write and pitch their ideas for funny things, make fun of people that are being very emotional on Twitter about the Spurs. It's a place where I can just be myself and I don't have to be regulated by people that tell me I need to write a certain way.
They're gonna
'cause
get
I mean,
hurt.
that's perfectly fine too, because I get paid for it and that's fine. But this is a way where I can just be unleashed. So yeah, SanAntonioSpurned.com. You can see their new design right now if you go to it, and then I will have all those articles in a couple of
And
weeks.
it's
So
very nice, by the way. I went to the website and looked at it. If you haven't gone, go check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff on there that Josh has done already, and it's pretty humorous. You know, it's funny. It's nothing to be taken serious. You're supposed to have
Right.
fun with it. So don't go in there and
Yes.
say, "Oh, this is horrible." No, it's meant to be funny. Don't take it serious.
Parody.
Yes,
Yeah, and it says
exactly.
that. There's a whole intro that says it's not to be taken seriously usually. And the last
Usually.
one I actually did, I couldn't find a place for it in the week of articles that I'll be doing, so I just did it early so people can kind of be aware of the site. And I actually I wrote about virtual Kawhi Leonard opting to sit out of NBA 2K
Load management.
for load management. So the virtual version of him was unhappy with the Clippers staff.
And I like the photo that he used of Kawhi. He kind of has the mean face.
So I wrote about that. You can find that right now if you go to spurn.com. It should be the top article. You'll find stuff like that, just ridiculous stuff, not serious things. If you want more serious things, you can go to Project Spurs or Air Alamo. I mean, for my stuff on that. But this, yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So as we start bringing this show to a close here, we want to go ahead and recognize our friends over at DraftKings. And DraftKings, you can go over and download the top-rated DraftKings app now and use the promo code TBPN when you sign up, and you can get your free shot at up to $50,000 in total cash prizes every day if you go and sign up with DraftKings. So make sure you use that promo code again. That promo code again, it's TBPN. So thank you to DraftKings. And as we go ahead and bring the show to a close, where can they follow you guys on social media? We'll start with you, Vicky.
You
And I'm
follow
bringing
me.
it up right now.
Yay!
There you go.
At the Vicky Vix on Twitter.
There you go. And you want to know where you can follow her? It's right below. You can see it right there. So now Vicky
wanna
doesn't
see
even
what
have to
like
spell it all
this.
out. She just points.
There.
Right there. There you go. And Josh, we're going to go ahead and bring yours up next. And here's where the people can follow you on Twitter. They can follow you at Josh810. And why should they follow you on Twitter? What do you like to talk about?
Mostly Spurs stuff. Every once in a while, I'll get some other things out there, but anything Spurs coverage related, I've been a fan since the late '90s. So I'll have stuff from back then. Also, I have current stuff. Usually, I like to share videos of me dunking on a mini hoop with my dogs running around.
And that was a spectacular missed dunk, by the way.
Yes, I was happy that the Austin Spurs took notice. Maybe they'll
That's
maybe
so
I'll
cool.
send them an actual made one, and they'll give me an invite. But yeah, stuff like that. I like to share funny things that I see or I think of, and you can see my Spurned articles. I'll be sharing those when that comes out. And you can also enter the giveaway contest if you go to my pinned tweet. All you have to do is retweet it. Make sure you're following me at Josh810 and at Spurned. That's the Twitter for that site. So yeah, at Josh810 on Twitter.
There you go. So make sure you go ahead and follow Josh. You follow Vicky, and you can also follow me. And I'm putting that up on screen right now. My Twitter handle is at Two Shots Podcast, all spelled out, TWO, Two Shots Podcast. And I'll talk to you about San Antonio Spurs, NFL football that's going to be kicking off here shortly. You want to go ahead and talk about the Dallas Cowboys and why I should not be a fan of this team, you feel free to go ahead and hit me up. It's not going to change my mind. I'm a glutton for punishment. So, I heard it all before. So it's in good fun. I doubt that the team is going to have a successful season. I already know that, fully aware going into this season. So I don't need nobody to tell me otherwise. So if you want to talk about that or anything else going on in the world of entertainment and pop culture, such as the latest What If episode that I heard was really good, and I'm going to watch it right after we're done with this episode of Spurs Rewind, go ahead and hit me up at Two Shots Podcast. So that's about all the time we have for today's episode. So for Josh Paredes and Vicky, I'm Joe Garcia, and thank you for watching another episode of the Spurs Rewind. And like we always say, spread the love, stop the hate, be kind. We're out. Peace.